And we're checking new patch. Today, September 2nd, PTR only at the moment. General update. Basic cleave and splash attacks will now function more consistently across all heroes through various situations. Changes that may impact the balance of the hero will be listed in the balance. Update, home screen, start music. So the only cleave that I can think of from the top of my head is Maltel and Junkrat and Butcher level 13 cleave. Well, let's see what we have here. Map updates, general. Fort Skips and Core will now grant ally heroes that take damage in the radius 50 armor for 4 seconds. Wait, Fort Skips and Core? Okay, Core, yeah, but Forts and Keeps? This effect has a 4-second cooldown and can only be granted to one hero per structure. While this armor is in effect, enemy heroes that attack the target will be swallowed by 20%. Oh, Leoric Cleave as well. Actually, can I put the chat here so... Yeah. I can put the chat. Can you write something? Yeah, there you go. So it can be seen as well for YouTube. Kick. So this makes it diving harder. Which I think is okay. Only one hero gets the armor. Is it a random hero? Heroes that take damage. The first hero that take damage. You could potentially bait it on the tank. I know this is gonna make the game feel a lot different. They're shaking up the gameplay, damn dear. 4 Keeps and Core will no go prioritize an enemy hero when an allied hero is attacked. Huh. So, wait, what? What do you mean? So that's gonna make diving better? But someone is gonna be more tanky? I don't know, this is so weird and new. Mercenary camps now spawn 30 seconds after the match begins, down from 60. Okay. Small XP goals will now vanish if no allied hero is within 15 radius of the globe. Until what? How many seconds though? Weren't they left for like a big duration? No allied hero is within 15 radius. I don't get that personally. I told small XP globes. Oh! What the fuck was that? Were the one that gets smaller if they sit for 5 seconds. But they stay for quite a long time. What do you mean they're gonna vanish? Do they mean they're not gonna sit anymore for like 5 seconds like the big ones and then they'll vanish? I feel like they need to explain this a bit more. Structure HP increased by 12%. That's gonna make games overall a bit longer. When a hero attacks an enemy structure with a basic attack, minions near the building become inspired and gain 35% attack speed and movement speed. This does not affect illusion of summons. But now split pushing is back on the menu. Interesting. Minions will now spawn exactly at minute 0 and 30. I've never paid attention on timer, so that doesn't mean anything to me. Blackheart's Bay. Bombardment now deals 20% reduced damage to keep and core. Okay, but full to tower, I guess. Cast time to turn in coins decreased by 2 seconds. I think that's fair. There are 3 treasure chest locations. The first chest spawns in the top lane during the first phase. 2 chests spawn in the next 3 phases, and all 3 chests spawn every phase after that. Top lane chest, damn dear. Means the top is now gonna have a little bit more action because it's usually... Blackheart has always been a bottom heavy map. There are now side towers near Blackheart. Whatever that means. Near Blackheart. That means like a vision control point. You will now only drop half your coins upon that rounded down. I don't think that's a good change, the half of the coins. I kind of like the risk of all the coins, just like gems. So if you're in mid lane while top clears itself, if you're mid lane while top clears itself, the globes instantly disappear and you cannot get them. Oh. Oh, I see. And 15 radius is probably a big radius tracking, so that's like, let's say from the middle of the lane till the fort, something like that. Will now vanish. So that makes split pushing even stronger. I would assume. It's like a full screen. Yeah, something what I explained. Punishes bad rotation. Yeah, that's fair. I like that. Hanamura, paywall damage increased. Paywall now moves 20% faster. That's good. Samurai lane pusher health reduced. That's good. Pretty much though, those are things that made the map less enjoyable for people, which is Samurai too strong, Paywall too weak. Infernal Shrines. Punisher will no longer leap over gates. Huh? I mean, sure. Let's see how that's gonna work. I think that makes it so Punishers are weaker because you cannot bait them into the fort range. Yeah, first Punisher stronger. Skeleton minion damage reduced by 25. That's whatever. Minion health decreased. Minion movement speed increased. Minions now have 20 magic armor. Huh. But that doesn't matter because the HP is decreased. So I guess they'll die less to like Diablo Hellfire or something like that. Because there's magic armor on. Interesting. Sky Temple. Guardian Mighty Swing knockable duration reduced by a little bit. Whatever. Mighty Swing knockback is now interrupted by other knockback effects. Whatever. Knockback speed increases to match previous knockback distance. Whatever. Swing will now interrupt any ongoing knockback effects. Whatever. Warhand Junction nukes damage updated to 1000 plus 12% of target's max HP. Was 2300 before. That sounds like a nerf. Who cares about 10% of max HP? That's like what? On a tank? Maybe 1000. Meh. Nukes now ignite structures dealing 0.8 of their health per second for 12 seconds. Attacking the building will refresh the duration. Ooh. That's cool. That means that this makes the nuke use more. Also, I wonder if max HP counts for structures as well. Because structures have a lot of HP. Like 20,000 or something. I don't know. Target max HP. Because they're talking about HP here on the fort. This is gonna make it so you don't waste nuke randomly somewhere on the fort and live, but actually try to commit to a push with a nuke. Which I kinda like. News now take extra time to launch. So that means you channel them more, or? There will be no fewer nukes, that's fine. There will now be fewer nukes. Okay. That means more centralized team fights around nukes. Dehaka. Did we get a proper Dehaka nerf? Brush Talker cooldown increased by 3 times. Cooldown is reduced by 50 when a regen goal is picked. What? So, So it's 3 times, and you need to do like 3 waves or 4 waves. What's the time you need to do 4 waves? Maybe around, for 75 seconds, you're gonna do 3 waves. 3 to 4. So this makes, so pretty much nothing changed. What changes the Haka is less good on 2-lane maps, but you can pick up globes around like Braxes. And Brush Stalker Apex Predator cooldown reduction increased to 190. Holy moly. So you get to Zin non-stop with one globe. I mean, that sounds like a Dehaka buff to me, honestly. Like, what the fuck is going on? Not many people upgrade the Simon Zoot. Why did they do that, man? I don't think that's a nerf to the baseline that much. Alright, sure. We're gonna see. Dehaka first ban steal for me, honestly. Illidan, Fairy Brand. Attacking a different hero from the last hero attack now resets progress on the previously attacked hero. Attacking a different hero from the last hero resets the progress on the previously hero. Huh? That's the percentage damage every 3 attacks. Sure. I don't think that needed to be changed though. Because it's not like a super popular talent. Blinds and evasions now prevent any progress from being granted. Sure. If the target gains stasis or weapons will be lost. Sure. Stacks now last 300 seconds. Sure. Weird changes here, I don't get them. Kyoto's Phoenix now has 3 charges. No fucking way. Dude. Wow, that's insane. I gotta try that. I mean, they didn't need to go that hard on that layout when you upgrade. Maybe they needed a small change. Like, you know what they could have done? Make it so the Phoenix auto pursues targets like a Junkrat trap. But maybe like a slow speed. Or like a Artanis laser or something. The Butcher. Brutal Strikes. Now uses stacks when attacking while blinded or evading it. Sure, whatever. Wongbolt decreases move speed, no longer decreases the Wongbolt. Decrease move speed no longer decreases the Wongbolt. Rates starting speed and now reduces Wongbolt's rate move speed. Starting speed. Whatever that means, I guess. So pretty much nothing changed, but you're gonna start faster. Throw level 7 elemental assault after using a basic or heroic ability. Throw's next basic attack with you within 4 seconds deals 35%. No more follow through. So now procs on heroic. So bigger burst. Was it 45 back then? Follow through. Wasn't follow through like 60 or something? I don't remember the last Valo. Within 4 seconds. It's 40 now. So that's a massive buff to follow through. And it compares with the ticking percentage. And wait, what was the other 7? The mana? Or that was a 4. Maybe I should log into HOTS to see what I'm talking about myself. Giant killer. No, that's what I said. The taking damage is what I thought was the giant killer. So what's the third one? I forgot. I think it was mana. Dingari. You mean green wolf? Oh, the hammer stacks, yeah. Man, people are probably never gonna take hammer stacks anymore because of this buff to the to the follow through. Damn. Uther. Holy light. Range is increased by a little bit. Q. Range is no longer increased to 8 after receiving Holy Shock. Okay. So that makes Holy Shock less good. Whatever. No longer grants reduced cooldown or mana cost and instead costs less mana and has war cooldown. What? And is an active button. Isn't that the same wording but the opposite way? I think what this means is it doesn't reduce the cooldown of the Q, but instead is now a separate ability. But does that mean you can use Holy Shock and heal at the same time? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it works exactly. Slice and dice rework finally. I love Slice and dice. Maybe they're gonna make it more viable now. I think it just means the stitch is one button. No, I think... Well, we're gonna see what it means. But that's also a good theory. Grants 400 attack speed, which is lost after attacking 3 times or after 3 seconds. Cooldown for the next attack after third attack will not be reduced. Huh? Wait, wasn't Slice and Dice like 300? Let me see in game. 150. So what? So what if it's like 3 times faster? Cooldown for the next attack after third will not be reduced. So what? What do you mean reworked? Wait, that doesn't give energy anymore, I think, as well. It used to have a passive restore 2 energy per auto attack hit.
Well met, my friend.
No, I think they didn't put the entire info of the spell, they just touched on the auto attack speed, one of it. I don't get this, man. Like, Slice and Dice attacks already happen decently fast. Why do they need to be faster? Yeah, I'll try it out, but seems like nothing changed to me. Varian, Warbringer, mana cost. Reduction reduced from 22 to 20. Huh? Mana cost. Wait, that's the variant mobility thing. They gave it just a mana reduction? It went from 45 to 22
Commander.
to 20. So what?
Our enemies grow
Why did they
stronger
ride
than
it 2
me.
times as well?
Let us bring the fight to them.
That sounds a bit confusing. Demoralizing shot cooldown reduction increased from 2.5 to 5. You know, I think the demoralizing shot cooldown reduction was already pretty decent. You just need to use it in some more specific situations. But I guess people weren't taking it or something. Yeah, sure. Bug fixes. Knockback root. Avarak mocking strikes. Cause basic attack to display incorrectly when attacking a Simon's hero. Whatever. Buff bar. Now consume if attacking when blind at final cut. Bonus damage is now dealt before primary basic attack damage. I don't know what that matters. Fix an issue that causes impact visual and sound effects to be created on artists. Sure. Fix the issue that causes global annihilation empowered by Tile of Sin to deal more damage than intended. Empowered by Tile of Sin. Huh, interesting. So Asmo is gonna have less wave clear with black. Fix the issue that causes impact visual and sound effects to be created on Asmodan. Now displays as total annihilation in the death recap. Cool. Now displays as a quest. Phase Z, cast indicator is no longer hidden if target is polymorphed. Movement speed now gradually decays over its duration instead of in chunks. Huh. Fixing an issue cause charges to trigger multiple times in a row and gaining attack speed. Okay, cool. Now applies to a next basic attack that is fire instead of the next basic attack that connects. Alright. So that's good if you have blind on top, or if you have evasion, I guess. Good for the enemy. Buff bar progress. Progress now displaying a buff bar. Martial wall bonus damage is now dealt before. Weird. Stormward and fire. Earth's attack slow is now prevented by blinds. Prevented by evading. Stormward Fire's attacks will now display as crits if granted an applicable physical damage buff instead of a spell damage buff. That makes sense. Physical ensure that cause Shove to not push Choi if he is rooted. True! I actually felt that. I couldn't do it. When I get like a rooted Banduin or Kel'Thuzad, I couldn't shove us. I don't know, I thought that might be intended to nerf Cho'Gao a bit. Because I think the shove is pretty strong. What else we have here? Fix an issue that cause shove and other knockback effects to temporarily disable the Talon's benefits, Kalia's Hide. Which is what? Let me check in game. Wow, under 60% max HP Cho gains increased movement speed and healing received. Shove and other knockback effects with the big Cho'Gao buff again. Fuel for the Flame. Isn't that the level 20 that no one picks? Yeah, it is the splash. Will no longer hit inactive mercenaries if target near these mercenaries are hit. Okay, so that's a buff. Will no longer hit inactive mercenaries unless the primary attack is also an inactive mercenary. Okay. And let me see, what did the talent do exactly? Basic attacks against enemy cause them to explode, dealing 20 damage to them and 40 damage to nearby enemies. This damage is double against enemy heroes. So this talent does pretty good damage, it seems, on the number. 40 on and 80 on splash, which is probably scaled pretty well. But you need to sacrifice Hour of Twilight, Cho'Gao Death Timer by 50, Root on Poo, or Hammer base attack slow and range. I mean, this could be good if you go into like a heavy melee team though. For like more burst. Like, let's say you wanna kill Morales. You go on top of Morales, the entire team, enemy team jumps on you. You kill Morales faster with that talent, I suppose. Sand Blast Q. Sand Echo will now be revealed to the target when hit by Sand Echo's basic attack. That's fair. Sand Echo will now be revealed when their basic attack or Sand Blast deal damage when they're not visible. That's fair. Sand Echo will now be revealed when basic attack or Sand Blast deals damage while they're not visible. I don't know what that has to do with Unraveling 20 though. That's the Swing Sand. I don't know why it was mentioned that Sand Echo is connected to this. Deathwing Z. Fixed issue that causes Dragonfly's cast animation to be interrupted when Deathwing hits another Deathwing with his basic attack. But why? Why shouldn't it be interrupted? Yeah, but why is that a... Like... Yeah, but... Yeah, why was this not working as intended? Because any base attack should interrupt the Dragonfly animation. That didn't work on Deathwing? Who the fuck even knew about that? Holy shit. Armor reduction is now refreshing duration when reapplied. Dead drop. Okay, whatever. Fire and Fury fix an issue that causes basic attack impact visuals to be displayed on Deathwing if attacking Assault Hero. Whatever. Self-destruct Diva. Charge gain from basic attack now occurs after all targets have been hit. So that means it works better versus evade? Properly now? All targets have been hit. Yeah, I suppose that's what it means. Fix an issue that causes self-destruct knockback to not apply correctly. Okay, nuclear options, self-destruct charge gain from hitting are now occurs. Okay. Guitar Hero healing visuals no longer occur if HC is blinded. The target is evading. Or HC heals max HP. Sure. Fast at percentage. Bonus damage is now dealt before. I don't know why they're doing that. What does it matter if first is the base attack and then the percentage? It's the same amount of damage. All other effects will still occur if this kills the target. Huh? Yeah, it is new patch, Ekavra. So what? So if the percentage kills the target, the basic attack is gonna hit the corpse. I guess this might be important. This might be important for splash heroes. The percentage and splash at the same time. But I cannot think about a single hero that can do that. Butcher doesn't have percentage. Mato doesn't have percentage on his auto attack. He needs to kill. I don't know in which case this is gonna apply. Now applies Phoenix to the next basic attack fart instead of the next basic attack that connects. Okay. So that means that this is a Phoenix nerf. Pay attention, Eki Alfredo. This might be very important for you. So Arsenal strategies is the every 3 attacks you explode for bigger splash and crit. So now if the next attack doesn't connect and it's evaded, let's say by a variant parry, it won't do the splash to anyone else around Varian. I think. Wait, it's actually the opposite. No, wait. Now applies to the next basic attack far instead of the next basic attack that connects. Wait, that's exactly what it means, right? No, wait. Wait. So before, it would always connect even if it was a parry. Now, it happens when it's far. But if it doesn't connect, it's wasted. So, I think that's what it means. So I think it is a nerf. I don't know. We're gonna have to say I'm getting confused myself. But I think it's a nerf. Mobile offense, which is a 35 when you move, now applies to the next basic attack fire instead of the basic attack that connects. Some of these things must be some like super specific situations. Okay. Inhibiting energy. Cooldown is now applied when phase bomb is fired. That's the SWAT talent, right? Yes. Now applies to the next basic attack fire instead of the next basic attack that connects. Isn't that the same change in 2 lines of text though? Oh, it's the cooldown is applied. So you're gonna get the cooldown faster, I suppose. Overall, the variant buffs are not that big. It's like mana in level 20. It's okay. Gazwo rocket socket fixed an issue that caused defensive matrix applied to Gazwo to not reduce turret damage. Okay. So Gazwo nerf on the turret from Diva Matrix. Sure, I mean, to be fair, Robo Goblin Gazwo actually 1v1s Diva pretty well if she stays in fight. So fixed an issue that causes rocket turrets created by Ultimate Evolution clone of Gazwo to not gain increased damage. So now they get increased damage from Ultimate Evolution. Sure. If someone actually copies that. Force keeps and will no longer prioritize the enemy hero and ally his attack. Bro, please read everything Blizz though before reading just that. There are things on the bottom that make more sense after. Fixed an issue that caused the bonuses to be applied. Positive reinforcement. When rocket turrets attacked a target instead of when it hits a target. So that makes auto attack Gazwo faster. Nice, that's a buff. Arc reactor. Fixed issue defensive matrix applies to not modify their damage. Buff to that, I suppose, for defensive matrix. Miniature rocket turret to not fire at the correct location. Whatever. Fix an issue that caused the warning indicator to be visible in the fog of war. Defensive matrix to not modify their damage. Overclock bonus damage is now dead before. I don't know why what is up with these changes here. There were a decent amount of balance changes. And a lot of general changes about how 4 works. Go for a talk fisher, go for a throw to play its cast animation on the target when Greymane targets another Greymane. Whatever. Alpha cure bonus damage is now dead before. So the only thing that I thought about that doing the percentage damage can be better first is if you're fighting a Deathwing. So if you hit a percentage damage on Deathwing first, it would break his armor plates faster, and then the basic attack damage is gonna hit for a harder. So all these changes sound to me like a Deathwing nerf that they're doing on these heroes. Toasted says it's gonna be sad. Hunter Blunderbuss now occurs while blinded. Wait, what? That shouldn't occur when blinded. What is this Grey Man buff? That's the splash from range auto attack. I don't think that's a good change. Now searches after all effects on the primary target have completed with the exception of Wizened Duelist. Huh? Wizened Duelist? Isn't that level 7? Yeah. Extra damage from crit. So the splash is not gonna give more Wizened Duelist stacks. Same with Tooth and Claw. So now he still has the splash around even when he's blind. Yeah. So that's one of the splash changes. I think that's the first change from the splash that I see that is connected to a buff to a splash. And maybe like throw 20, but that's like whatever. Illidan dive. Finish call dive to play sound and visual. Effect twice if Illidan is target and whatever. Fairy Brand is now dead before the primary target. Yeah. That's like versus only Deathwing, I think it works well. Valeria's Brand Q. Fix the issue cause Valeria's Brand benefits for it to be consumed to be granted when the target gains invulnerable. For being consumed to be granted. Or is even killed. So that sounds like a Imperious Q nerf, which is good. Because that's a baseline.
Before the might of heaven.
Yes. Oh no, baseline doesn't have a cooldown reduction. You only get the cooldown reduction on Impaling Light. So what benefits is the... Wouldn't deal damage if the enemy hero is hit, channel the stun for 1 second and deal additional damage. So I guess... No, I don't get what that does. The Valera change doesn't make a difference, Zeki Alfredo. It's still only for 3 attacks. Fix an issue that caused the Warrior's Brand to heal Imperials when a branded target enters stasis. Okay. So I guess that's a nerf level. Various brands are no one consuming Imperials is blinded. Or the target is evading. Oh! That's huge Imperials buff. What the fuck? Illidan would bait me sometimes to consume my brands. Why does it say Q here though? This is big bait. Isn't that the trait? Yeah, Valoria's brand is the trait. Celestial charge is the Q. What are you baiting me with here, reading? So you won't get the heal if the target is killed, supposedly. Yep. But this, okay. Additional target search now occurs after all effect of the primary flash anger. Okay. So no splash if you evade, I think. Since blinds no longer consume Valeria's brand, this is now prevented by those effects. Holy favor no longer prevented by blinds or evasions. Aha! So buff to splash Imperious. Fix an issue that causes Valores brands to grant cooldown reduction when a branded target enters stasis or is killed. Okay. Fix an issue that causes Valores brands to grant cooldown reduction when a branded target enters stasis or is killed. Okay, so less cooldown. Blinds no longer consume Valores brands. Water Elemental, basic attack splash to hit evading targets. Basic attack splash no longer reveals the target it hits. Splash now reveals the area. That sounds like a buff. And this sounds like a quality of life. Condemn fixed in a casual condemn to pull unstoppable targets. Huh. Unstoppable. Really? I haven't noticed that. Basic attack splash from Junkrat now occurs while blinded. But is still prevented by evading targets. That makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense because if you throw a splash attack which is like a grenade, the explosion of the grenade isn't prevented because Junkrat is blinded. So that makes sense to real physics. Even though it's prevented by an evading target. Sure. Kelta's Phoenix. Oh, the Phoenix had a splash as well. And they buff Phoenix level 20. Attack damage is now affected by defense matrix. Whatever. Attack splash no longer reveal target hit, but now reveals the area it hits. Okay, so a buff. Now reveal both targets of chain link connection. Cause the shade to not be revealed when it deals damage. Fair. A Ravage Q. Fix an issue that causes Ravage to play its cast animation on the target when Kerrigan targets another Kerrigan. Whatever. Karazim Q. Fix an issue that causes Radiant Dash to appear incorrectly when cast on another Karazim. Whatever. Fix an issue that causes triggering attack to not play the correct impact sound. Whatever. Charge Blast Tyrasha's elements bonus is now additive and still multiple. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Now deals damage before the basic attack deals damage. That sounds like a super specific situation that no one cares about. But sure. Seeker now shows in the death recap. Now displays as a Seeker. Now happens when the third magic missile deals damage. I don't know how that makes a difference because Seeker damage happens if, let's say, the damage is absorbed. I don't know what's up with that. Taurasha's elements bonus is now additive and still multiple attacker. I don't know if that's good or bad. Wusio, Crossfade W. Crossface from different Wusios can now stack together. Wusio Aram buff. Cause display of effect allies to not display correctly if more than 7 heroes are in crossfade. Weird. Now includes targets in the boombox crossfade. Display. Sound way to push unstoppable targets. Okay. Now that's fixed between healing boost and speed boost to cause the duration counter to be inaccurate. Boombox crossfire radius to not grant movement speed. Boombox buff. Movement speed bonus to not behave consistently. Multiple Wusios are in the game. Allies in Boombox crossfire radius to not grant bonus healing. So they buff Boombox to proc from other talents. Sure. Now grants his effects to allies in Boombox Summer Anthem. No fucking way, man. Cool. Lunara Wild Vigor. Cause the 4th basic attack to not display impale effects. Wild Vigor, isn't that auto attack damage on Lunara? Yes.
Allies of the forest are welcome.
So what are you talking about the auto attack damage, Tana? The 4th basic attack to not display impact effects now applies to the next 4 basic attacks fire instead of the next 4 basic attacks that connect. Sure. Now applies to the next attack fire instead of the next attack. Sure. Nozebo Corpse Spider. Defense Matrix. Ultimate Evolution to not grant spell power bonuses to Corpse Spider. Defense Matrix, Ultimate Evolution, spell power bonus. The patch sucks. Why? I think it's very cool. Dead Rush now increases the damage of already existing zombie wall zombies when the talent is selected. Sure. First Ninja cause Defense Matrix, whatever. Backbiter. Cause Backbiter to not move Orphea if she's rooted. Wow, that's a huge Orphea buff. What the fuck? Damn. Chaotic Assault. Fixing an issue caused the damage bonus to be granted when Orphea has less than 3 overwhelming chaos. If she dies with 3 overwhelming chaos. Whatever. Fixing issue that cause crushing jaws. Pull to null apply. Explain how fights under force work now. Completely different than how we knew Friodicey. Literally a game-breaking change that is gonna change how we play the game, potentially change the metas. That's insane change. It's trash? Why do you think it's trash? We're gonna see. It sounds like a risky move on the patch notes, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Let's see how it works. Rain or Mana Restore is now bundled together when multiple heroes are hit. That's good. Mana Restore now restores all mana at once instead of 10 mana for each individual hero. Okay. Ghost Wolf, Rhaegar. Cause the one attack target the Rhaegar to cause the target Rhaegar to play an attack animation. Hunger of the Wolf cause blind vision to not prevent this from activating. Fixing issues that cause it blinds innovation to not prevent this from activating. Hunger of the Wolf. How does that make sense though? Yes, I remember the ammo instructions. So, but Hunger of the Wolf means that you need to bite with Rhaegar someone, which is a physical attack. Like, what do you mean the blind is not gonna prevent that, man? Or the evasion? It doesn't make sense. They're giving Rhaegar buff, but it doesn't make sense as a physics. Well, it is what it is. I don't agree with this change. Rexar Darby is now caused Misha Charge to display as a critical when at 5 or more stacks. Ooh, that's cool. Bonus damage is now applied to the next Misha Charge. Sure. Samuro Advanced Strikes trait. Blind Innovation now prevent activation. Good. Samuro too fast, a little bit of nerf. Sergeant Hammer Ambush now displays the remaining duration until the quad becomes active around the trait button. Whatever. Post detonation core. First instance of damage is now displayed as Spider Mines in the Dead recap. Mana Restore is now bundled together when multiple heroes. Yeah, Mana Restore is now combined for siege mode attacks. Whatever. Shrapnel duration of all armor reduction stacks are now refreshed when reapplied. Duration of all. Whoa! So that's a buff to Hammer Mine build. But I thought it already worked like that. Are you telling me that someone would get minus 40 armor from the first mine hit and that's it? Even though the mine would keep ticking? I didn't know that. Giant Slammer on Sonya. Bonus damage is now before the attack. Now displays as giant... whatever. Playtime Stitches. Mana Restore is now bundled. 2 tip of dead. Mana Restore when hitting heroes with slams in the arena. Whatever. Resonance Bait Asder to gain charge prior... Fixing issues that cause the beam to gain charge prior to dealing damage past the first instance. So a little bit of Asder nerf. That's fine. Now happens prior to all other effects when a basic attack would grant progress. Whatever. Splash attacks now happen after all other effects on the primary target have completed. What do you mean no other effects? I don't know. Sounds like whatever. Butcher Brand. Caused Butcher's basic attacks impact visual to not be correctly altered against branded. Butcher's basic attack impact visual to not be correctly altered against branded. Okay. Whatever. Brutal strikes now consume while blinded or against an enemy. That's fair. Wait, what? No, wait. Now consumed? No, that's brutal strikes. I thought it was the splash. That's fine. Now displays a savage charge in the area, whatever. Bewok's basic attack damage will now be properly affected by other damage modifiers when empowered by explosive attacks. Ooh, splash stronger on Bewok. Fixing an issue that caused Olaf's charging attack to not gain the benefit of Nordic attack squad or Impatience of Virgil. Huh? Really? So that's a little bit of Olaf nerf on auto attack build talents. What was the second ability name? What do you mean making Stitches first ban? They literally didn't change anything on Stitches besides him getting the mana at the same amount of number. So Nordic attack squad is the percentage. Enemies damaged by Vikings basically reduce the cooldown of all Viking abilities. I've never taken this talent. All Viking abilities. So that's gonna be Z. And that's it. And there's a cooldown to these abilities. So are you saying that you can stun more often? No, you cannot because you need to not stun talent. So you can swarm more often. Off gains increased health regeneration when out of combat. You can health regen more often faster. No, that's after a 4 for a second. I don't know how this ability improves. Eric moves faster when the other Vikings and whatever. That's the only basic ability you get to reduce. And this. Hail,
mighty keyboard warrior.
All Viking abilities. So that also counts to activatable abilities. Not only to basic abilities. Any hero who can take out of the range of a fort is instantly buffed. Sure, whatever. So what else are we getting buffed here? Spin to win gets buffed. You can use spin to win more often. Or North Shield. Ah, North Shield cooldown is way too big though. Interesting. And you can use jump more often.
We've been waiting 17 years for this.
Fixing the issue that caused Olaf charging attack to not gain the benefit of Nordic attack squad orientation. So Olaf was buffed for the auto attack build actually. I read it wrong. So was Baywalk for the splash. Olaf fixing an issue that caused charge to not grant the bonuses from Nordic attack. Yeah, you literally said that though, here. Fixing issue causes charge to not go on cooldown when targeting an enemy near a off position. To go on cooldown. I think that's if someone blinks and it doesn't proc or something. Fixing issue that causes the charge to not grant the bonuses from... yeah. I don't know why they keep writing that here. 2 times. Increase movement speed no longer increases Eric's starting speed and now grants Eric 50% move speed stacking with the other effects. Huh? Starting movement speed. I don't know, I think that might be under... I don't know. Baywalk finisher cause splash damage to all ground bonuses from impatience is over. What? Yo, this is a huge buff on the cooldown reduction talent. You could splash on like 5 people when you get 5 times the cooldown reduction. Holy shit, I gotta try that talent. That sounds super out of the box. Bonus damage is now a multiplicative bonus on explosion. Whatever that means. I still forget if additive or multiplicative is better. Nordic attack squad bonus damage is now dealt before. Yeah, whatever. Tempest Fury throw the initial third Wind Fury attack now features impact visuals. Okay. Focus Fire Tracer no longer progresses while blinded. Or against evading targets. Now displays in the buff bar how many hits have occurred on the current attack target as well as the window before tracking reset. Sure. Woe and Order now displays in the buff bar. That's cool. Mark amending on the deck recap. Guardian and Ancient King's Uther. Duration is now increased by talents that grant additional devotion armor duration. Wait, what? Guardian and the Ancient King's level 4 Uther. Wait, what? That's not a level 4.
Greetings, friend.
Guardian of the Ancient. There is no level 4. That's a level 7 talent, Blizzard. Pay attention. The level 7 talent, it says... Healing a hero with a basic attack. Healing a hero with a basic ability that is stun rooted or summons, grant them 50 armor for 3 seconds. So the duration is now increased by talents that grant additional devotion armor duration. So that means that if you take Wave of Light on level 1, which increases the duration of devotion by 0.5, that means that the level 750 armor is also granted for the extra 0.5. Which is a buff, but no one knew that they didn't work like that. Benediction physical caused abilities cast by benediction to grant utter mana. Sure, whatever. Sounds like Uther is gonna have more mana problems. Vava Volt damage, now bonus to the next basic attack far. Okay. Rain of Vengeance cause visuals to not display correctly. Twin Blade variant. Fix visual cause Twin Blade to display the wrong cooldown reduction value. Whatever. Gore does want to display the incorrect. Whatever. White Mane Saintly Great Staff marker is no longer removed. White Mane is blinded. Was that the auto attack? White Mane Terra. Searing Lash empowers are marked for 3 seconds. Basic attack against them deal additional damage.
Returns.
So that's like a buff to her auto attack build if blinded or evade. Zagara summons are now affected by defensive matrix. Sure. Zarya targets that enter the splash area between instances of Zarya's basic attack hitting the primary tank will no longer be hit instantly. The splash area. Sounds like a bit of a Zarya nerf, but I don't know how exactly. It's gonna happen slower or something. Because that's the auto attack area splash, which is kind of like a laser of damage. Energy gain is now bundled together when multiple heroes are hit. Cool. Is now gained after the primary target and all splash attacks targets have been hit, causing all targets to take equal damage with Dimber grants Zarya energy. Whatever. Zojin, a surprise for you, now gains the benefit of Berserker being active if the far attack has Berserker active. Why was that not the case? That's the passive Berserker 25 extra damage.
Look what is.
Basic attacks bounce to a nearby enemy for 50%. We read everything. Big buffs to splash, it seems, and general balance patcher. The Haka level 20 buff. Illidan. Whatever. Kelta's level 20 buff. Butcher, whatever. Viking overall buffs. Troll buff on level 7. Uther, we don't know what's going on besides Q range buff. On the Holy Shock, we don't know what's going on. Valera, almost meaningless buff, I think. Variant mana buff and level 20 buff. So even though the balance changes don't seem like much, it's mainly the general changes that really switch up the gameplay. Overall, cool patch. I like it. Besides like one change I didn't like, which I already forgot about. Damn. It took me 1 hour to read this patch notes, man.